The average Formula 1 driver lives like a saint. Strict diet.
I mean, I have a relatively high protein diet, no carbs really. Just avoid carbs, avoid bread.
Daily training, 8 hours of sleep, every move calculated to shave off 1/10 of a second. Now, meet Kimi Räikkönen. He partied all night, slept whenever he felt like it, and once raced a powerboat dressed as a gorilla. But somehow, he still destroyed the most disciplined drivers in the world. So how did a man who seemed to care so little become one of the greatest of his era? When Kimi Räikkönen showed up in Formula 1, he didn't just break the mold. He set it on fire and walked away without saying a word. Most drivers climb through years of junior racing, obsess over fitness, media training, and building the perfect public image. Kimi? He had barely 20 races under his belt, spoke almost zero English, and looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. But the moment he stepped into that car, he was fast. Scary fast. He didn't smile, didn't talk much, didn't care about the cameras, the sponsors, or the politics. He once skipped a press event to take a nap. Another time, he told a journalist his race strategy was to go as fast as possible. That's it. He didn't play the game, and that's exactly why fans fell in love with him. You never knew what Kimi was thinking. He never showed nerves, never cracked under pressure. He just put on his helmet, ignored everyone, and drove like he was born to win. That emotionless stare, it wasn't an act, it was Kimi, and it earned him the nickname the Iceman. But behind the silence was chaos. Most athletes protect their careers like glass, carefully, cautiously, constantly planning every move. Kimi, he treated Formula 1 like a weekend hobby, and nightlife like a full-time job. His off-track antics were the stuff of a legend. One night he'd be club hopping across Europe, the next he'd be passed out on a yacht in the middle of Monaco. One of the most iconic moments, he disappeared between races and showed up on a yacht in a gorilla suit. No one questioned it, not his team, not the media, because with Kimi, this was normal. Then there's the time he entered a powerboat race while wasted, dressed as a bear, and of course, he won. And in 2013, the myth reached new levels. Kimi casually revealed he'd been partying for 16 days straight before a race weekend. That kind of streak would destroy most drivers. Kimi, he showed up, put the helmet on, scored points like nothing happened. His engineers stopped asking where he'd been. His bosses just hoped he'd remember the race start time. And the fans? They loved it. Because in a sport full of overcoached robots, Kimi was the last real rebel. He didn't pretend to be perfect. He just showed up, drove like a monster, and disappeared into the night. And the craziest part? The partying didn't ruin him. It unlocked him. Take away the partying, take away the chaos. At the core of it all, Kimi Räikkönen was a freak of nature behind the wheel. From day one, he had that unteachable instinct, the kind of precision and control you usually only see in video games. He made his F1 debut in 2001 with Sauber, after just only 23 car races in his life. Most drivers spend years grinding through junior categories. Kimi skipped the line and still made everyone else look slow. When he moved to McLaren, that raw speed turned deadly. On a good day, nobody could touch him. On a bad day, the car usually broke before he did. He lost 2 world titles, not because he wasn't fast enough, but because the car couldn't keep up. Then came 2007, Ferrari. The doubters were loud, the pressure was brutal, and Kimi didn't care. He stayed silent, let the others talk. Then went on to win the world championship by a single point, overtaking both Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso in one of the greatest title comebacks in F1 history. No drama, no games, just speed. While others relied on politics, setups, and team orders, Kimi relied on feel. He could wring performance out of any car, any track, any conditions. 1 lap to deliver, no problem. No tire warm-up needed, no excuses, just grip and guts. He wasn't a machine, he was something worse. He was unpredictable and unbeatable. Kimi didn't need trash talk, he didn't need mind games. He just stared through you like you didn't exist, and then beat you anyway. Most drivers tried to play mental warfare. Kimi skipped the talking and let the lap times do the damage. His silence wasn't shyness, it was calculated indifference. He didn't care if the cameras were on. He didn't care if the world was watching. He just wanted to race and be left alone. One of the most iconic moments in F1 history came over the radio. His engineer was giving him instructions mid-race. Kimi cut him off with one cold sentence. "Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing."
Okay, Kimi, next car behind you is Alonso. I'll keep you updated on the pace.
Just leave me alone, I know what to do.
The world laughed. The paddock didn't. They knew he meant it. He once fell asleep during a driver meeting. Another time he missed a track parade because he was napping in his motorhome. When asked why, he said, "I was taking a shit." He didn't even try to soften it. This wasn't attitude for show, it was just Kimi. And that deadpan honesty made him terrifying.
Kimi, you missed the presentation by Pele.
Yeah.
Will you get over it?
Yeah, I was having a shit.
With Kimi, you never knew what was coming next. One minute he was in a race suit, the next, he was on a yacht with a drink in hand, sunglasses on, like the Grand Prix never happened. The chaos wasn't a phase, it was his default setting. Take Monaco 2006. Kimi crashes out. Most drivers would head back to the garage, debrief with the team, maybe sulk in the paddock. Kimi? He took off his helmet, walked straight to his yacht, and started partying. Still in race gear, no explanation, no drama, just vibes.
There is Kimi Räikkönen. He's not even gone back to the paddock. He's got his shirt off. He's on his boat, which has a splendid name, One More Toy.
Then there was the time he showed up to an event late, visibly uninterested, stood for a few photos, and left without saying a word. Another driver might have been fine. Kimi? The organizers just shrugged. It was Kimi. His off-track unpredictability was only matched by what he did during races. He'd ignore team orders, go off strategy on instinct, and somehow make it work. Once, in a rain-soaked race, every driver switched to wet tires, except Kimi. He stayed out on slicks, drifted through corners like he was in a rally, and still brought the car home in the points. No one understood how. Kimi didn't explain it. He never did. Even his engineers struggled to predict him. He'd show up with no setup notes, skip simulator sessions, then qualify in the top 5 like he'd been planning it for weeks. But through all the madness, he delivered. Because when it was time to race, the chaos vanished. Kimi locked in, and everyone else got left behind. The parties, the chaos, the radio outbursts. They made headlines. But none of that ever defined Kimi on race day. Because when the lights went out, he transformed. No distractions, no nerves, just total focus. In the car, Kimi was ice. His reactions were razor sharp. His racecraft? Calculated to the millimeter. He didn't need 10 laps to settle in. He was fast from turn 1. While other drivers leaned on their engineers for constant guidance, Kimi barely spoke. He didn't want advice. He didn't want chit-chat. He wanted silence. Because he knew what the car needed. His ability to extract performance from any setup, in any condition, was freakish. Rain, heat, tire degradation, it didn't matter. Kimi just adapted. Where others panicked, he stayed surgical. Even late in his career, when younger drivers came in with fresher legs and media-trained personalities, Kimi still embarrassed them on track. They trained harder, spent more time in the simulator, ate cleaner. Kimi just showed up and outdrove them. He didn't win because he followed the rules. He won because when it counted most, he was sharper than everyone else in the room. When Kimi Räikkönen retired in 2021, the paddock didn't just lose a driver, it lost a piece of its soul. He wasn't like the others. He never pretended to be. And that's exactly why fans adored him. In a sport that became increasingly polished, PR managed, and scripted, Kimi stayed real. No filters, no fake quotes, no forced smiles. He didn't care about building a brand. He was the brand. Even after stepping away from F1, the legend never faded. Clips of his one-liners, cold stares, and chaotic moments still dominate social media. His team radio quotes have become memes. His lifestyle has become myth. And his nickname, the Iceman, will forever be iconic. Young drivers idolize him, not for his media presence, but for his mindset. Fast, focused, and unbothered. He showed the world that you don't need to be loud to be legendary. Kimi wasn't just a champion, he was the last of a dying breed. A racer who lived on his own terms, and still managed to beat the system. Kimi Räikkönen partied harder than anyone in Formula 1... and still left some of the greatest drivers of all time in his dust. He didn't train like them, he didn't act like them, he didn't even try to fit in. While the grid chased perfection, Kimi chased silence and somehow found glory. No excuses, no drama, no need for attention. Just raw, ruthless speed. He proved that greatness doesn't always wear a smile. Sometimes it wears sunglasses, drinks vodka, and tells the engineer to shut up mid-race. In a sport obsessed with control, Kimi thrived in chaos. He didn't just win races, he rewrote what it meant to be a legend. And the craziest part? He made it look easy. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy all of the videos I upload. As always, thank you for watching.